What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge and we are back today with a quick update video in regards to my alternate account, as you guys can see here. But got a big announcement, guys. Finally got the confirmation here of the final Horseman in this account, so I want to showcase for you guys, where I'm at in terms of the days logged in for this alternate account and how I was able to get all 4 Horsemen during that time frame and how we're doing overall with the alt. So that said, let's go over to the achievements here. As you guys can see, I really like this tracker here because it really gives you a good sense of how many days you've been playing. And to be quite honest, guys, this account, I've definitely missed days with the daily streak, but as you can see, 230 days. So it's a little over 7 months if we average it to 30 days a month. So just around that ballpark mark. But in about a little shy over 7 months, we were able to actually unlock all 4 of the legendary horsemen in the game. So that's Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, Red Hulk, and most recently I just unlocked Archangel after his most recent Scourge. So guys, how was this possible? How was I able to go through this even though there's a multitude of different characters and teams I was not able to utilize? Well, if you recall, it's terrible now because we don't have this, for example, up screen here, but in the Scourge events, if you guys are able to go through and hit a minimum of 100k points, we're always guaranteed a minimum of 40 shards per run. So for me, I didn't actually need a lot of teams built up. I partook in the event. I had some key strong characters when I was going through it, and you generally just needed a team power of about 100k. You can even have some strong carry characters just carrying all the way to the very end. And so as long as you're able to hit 100k points, you would be granted 40 minimum shards per event running. And fortunately for us, in the recent couple of months, there has been a lot of Scourges happening. So I mean, we had Death Scourge previously. I think we had Red Hulk happening in March, and even before then, Rogue in her Famine Saga. So I think Morgan Le Fay's event is coming up next, now that we've seen the last 3 in the previous month and a half here. So that's the one to look forward to, guys. But if, for example, Morgan Le Fay, in order to unlock her, you do need 100. I believe it's 100 shards in total when you get her at the 2 yellow or 3 yellow. And with 3 runs, you're going to get 120 shards if you're able to do it a minimum of 100k points. And that's where we're sitting at right now with the 45 shards over 100, so giving us, the 3 yellow here. So really having strong characters, guys. Having a couple strong characters carrying you through all the way. And as you can see, I didn't build them up high because I do want to utilize them in some guides, beginner guides, as I'm going through the campaigns and stuff. But that just gives you guys a sense too. Where am I sitting right now in my TCP over 7 months? A little over 1.4, really close to 1.5 million mark. And as you can see, my total team power, 200k, level 78. So I could be a lot higher, to be honest, guys, but a lot of the characters I have not pushed past level 65 because I do want to utilize and make some guides for some of the campaigns using some of these horsemen. And it's nice because no other content creators have done it with these low levels, and that's why I want to take advantage, right? But I'll give you guys an example now. So this is how I was able to get 4 horsemen in about 7 months or so using teams. Well, which characters were really strong in that progression? Well, there's a couple that come to mind, but thankfully a lot of these characters are actually available right when you start the game and you open up, and you can start farming them right away within probably within the same week that you start. So an honorable key mention, guys, is Baron Zemo. I can't tell you how many times that he's carried me through the Scourge events just because of his abilities. I think he's actually the only character I have right now in my account that's over level 65, and that was because I needed to bring him to level 70 to push him to gear tier level 13, and ultimately he pushed me beyond Villains Chapter 7. And the reason we want a strong character like him going through Villains Chapter 7 is because that is actually the start of pretty much the mid-game. And Villains Chapter opens up the unlock of Hela. It opens up the other Nexus nodes as well, but you need to get through Villains Chapter 7. And the key to notable mention is that we don't have to invest in a lot of gear. I think we can also utilize AIM and Hydra, and Sinister 6, but having a strong character like Baron Zemo, he can really carry the weight. But I do have those videos as well already made up on those guides, guys. So biggest piece, definitely Baron Zemo. He's available in the raid store. Absolutely huge, guys. And then otherwise, I start a lot of these characters as beginner friendly, so that way you can reference. But there's some really big mentions there, guys. Hulk, part of the Gamma team in the end game, so he's part of a legendary horseman team. He's available from the get-go once you go through the daily objectives and unlock him naturally. He's a great tank, especially when we don't have a lot of tankiness in the beginning of the game. He can also be part of the Wave 1 Avengers. So I mean, just the fact that he's just so easily easily slottable as a plug and play character. Adds a huge amount of value in the beginning, but as well, I know of his value in the end game as well. We have Shang-Chi available in the Blitz store, very, very cheap, and he's readily available. One of the best characters in the game in terms of his skill set, especially for the Doom raids right now. It's going to be hard to replace him, but I mean, Invaders, with their team coming out right now, they're looking really good. But I mean, before then, Shang-Chi and the Secret Avengers are the ones that hold the meta. So a huge character for sure, and really because of his abilities. He can heal, he has a cleanse, and a very powerful ultimate ability that scales with enemies and their positive buffs. Another big one too is Thor, because of the Wave 1 Avengers synergy. Again, part of that Heroes as Guardians that got reworked. They're needed later on in the War Scourge, but he just has value through the early and mid game. End game, he does taper off a bit, but with his recent buffs, you know, he's still a very strong character when you're transitioning to the late game, and he's going to be providing a lot of value and already available in the raid store, similar to Baron Zemo. But I would focus on Baron Zemo before you get Thor, just because of Baron's access to a multitude of different nodes. And then, really, guys, I'm just cycling through the rest of them here, but, you know, those are some key mentions. You know, we have Gambit available, too, and even though you may not have Rogue available, he's still one of the best mutant characters in the game because of his passive attacks, and the best thing is he's really available, free-to-play friendly, right from the Crucible store. You do have to play a little bit in the game. He's unlocked a little bit later on through the Crucible store, but once you get those credits, he's super easy to build up, and his skill set is absolutely huge, especially in the early game. And then we have some honorable mentions here in terms of what they can add as well to the mix, right? We got Kestrel being one of the ones that are needed, obviously, for Apocalypse, but she's a great plug-and-play character, available in Milestone Orbs, so she's not truly farmable, but with a bit of luck and RNG, you will unlock her over time, so that's no issue there. Deathpool, same boat as Kestrel. A great character mix. I haven't built her up yet, but her synergies, she's needed for Apocalypse. You're going to be finding value if you have her early in the game. So absolutely no issue there whatsoever. Spider Weaver, definitely hands down one of the best characters in the game. They gave everyone a free 7 yellow a few months back, but if you guys weren't able to catch your boat on that, there's still shards of her through the premium orbs. You're able to get your hands on that. I didn't get a chance actually to build up Captain America, but with his rework now being part of the Doom Raid team for Rebirth, this character really makes a lot of sense now, synergizing with the characters I mentioned like Thor and Hulk, having that synergy with the Wave 1, and then the best thing is when you bring them later on to the mid and end game, they're all going to be having huge value. So you're not going to be losing much when you build these guys early on. That's the absolutely most beautiful thing about this. Otherwise, guys, I guess another strong mention would be Winter Soldier. He has synergy as well with Baron Zemo being Hydra, so using them early in the villains. You'll find that early on in the villains chapters, there's not going to be a lot of characters that you can utilize, right? So that's why it's absolutely huge to have that synergy. And best thing, again, similar to Captain America with the recent rework, him being accessible early in the game, the Rebirth team is going to have value for the Doom raids, but as well, he can be slotted in different teams, and with his recent buffs, it makes him a relevant factor for sure. So just some sample character guys. These are the ones that really kind of pushed me through early in the game. A lot of them, as you can see here, are very powerful given the sense that they all have end game value, but hopefully this guys can give you some context in terms of some of the synergies and characters to build up. And again, I didn't push any of them past level 65 because I want to showcase for you that you didn't need them this high to get through in the game to unlock the legendary Horsemen. And a strong mention as well, guys, I keep forgetting this, but Shuri, with her rework to Wakandans, she's still hands down one of the best legendaries in the game, just given how early you can unlock her. She was my first legendary that I unlocked, I think around the level 40, low 50 mark, and she's one of the few characters you can get earlier on that heals too, so provided a lot of value, guys. So there you have it. Hope this helps. Again, like I said, I didn't have to push them too high just because I wanted to see if I can unlock all the Scourge characters and Horsemen, and was able to successfully do that. But a big weight of it did fall on Baron Zemo, you know, with his passive attacks and his abilities carrying the rest of the way to victory. So that said, still a lot of power cores here to go. I got a lot of gold amassed here, as well as gold orbs, so that's not been an issue. So this is very similar to my main account, just being smart with resource management. But just remember, guys, if you're starting out, there's lots to gain, lots to play around with in certain synergies, but remember that it's always going to be a marathon and not a sprint. So take your time with it. It's all about knowing what you enjoy in the game and slowly building this team. up, and over time you will be getting to the end game as I'm slowly bringing this character forward. So thank you as always, guys. Here's a brief update, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and catch you guys in the next one.